We caught up with Comexposed founder Eugene to shed light on the impact of the talk, more on Jonathan's story, as well as what Eugene has lined up.
Hello, hey, Elliot. Okay, just to answer your first question. So Jonathan Symmonds works for a company called Pixomondo. Pixomondo is a visual effects company that's got offices globally. They're the visual effects company that handles visual effects sequences for shows like The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and a few others. And they're behind visual effects for big blockbuster films like the Marvel movies, quite a number of Warner Brothers films, and so on. So he came through for the first of Comexposed talks, which we'll be having, which are industry focused. The idea is to have talks that have a person who's distinguished in the industry, who's achieved quite a bit, whether it's internationally or regionally, and they simply talk about a specific area. It was not a workshop, it was more of a talk or a presentation. So Jonathan Symmonds is Zimbabwean and he grew up in Mutare, and he pursued visual effects academically, first I'm sure in university, though he didn't state which one. And then he started working in the United Kingdom after he got his first client there. He mentioned how he had done a lot of work for the film Avatar, and after he had worked on Avatar, the movie, he was later headhunted by Pixomondo to work primarily on creatures on Game of Thrones. Okay, so Jonathan has a company called Sophoria 3D Animation and Visual Effects. It's Sophoria, spelled with a PH. This is the company that Pixomondo outsourced the task of visual effects, specifically for the dragon animation. So Jonathan was heading up the creature animation team for the three dragons on Game of Thrones. Sophoria is a company that he runs with his partner Diletta Kata. She's an Italian. They're both based in Italy, and they spoke very broadly. I can't get into detail even right now because it was an hour 30 long presentation about the business of film production, animation production for small studios, administration and management, and then of course the different tools that they use in their pipeline depending on the types of tasks. They highlighted that they do commercial projects for television commercials, and also work for pro bono work for non-governmental organizations or for humanitarian causes. So he mentioned how he grew up here in Zimbabwe and how he went to school with Tino, the co-founder of Comexposed. They were together at Peterhouse. And in general, he covered quite a large array of topics and questions which were later on asked by the crowd, which was bordering nearly 100 people in attendance. So forgive me for not getting into detail because it was an hour-long presentation in which we went over quite a number of things, but I think I've highlighted the unique aspects of his presentation in the small areas that I've mentioned, like production, the types of jobs they take on, administration, and so on. The final take on Jonathan's presentation was that it was really helpful in shedding light on how much of a professional industry and business animation is, and it helped in highlighting how much of a worthy career it is. Usually what we do is perceived as childish because of the largest market share belonging to young children. So most parents or most investors don't take it seriously because they don't understand the high value of the work that we do. So Jonathan's presentation really succeeded in bringing together the top industry creatives in our community. I mean, anyone who's worth noting who's ever animated in our country, young and old, were there, and it was a great turnout, and it shows how important this kind of work is, and it highlighted how much uh, Zimbabweans need to take it seriously as a career path, and how much even parents need to encourage their artistic or creative children to pursue this line of work. Okay, to answer your last question, which is about the Marvel comic book. To be honest, I did see the news somewhere, but I did not read about it in detail. Um, but so I don't have the actual details of which writer they picked up and what the details of the story are. So I won't really be confident to comment on that. But I I thought I'd just give you this heads up. I'm going to be live on Al Jazeera live stream talking about um, the relevance of African comics. I'll be on a panel with other African creatives from different parts of Africa, and we'll be exploring different issues such as these. But we'll have a focus on the comic books that we've created and published independently. So I will give you that little bit of a scoop. So it'll be streaming live on Al Jazeera, the website, and it should be screening live on television. It'll be a live discussion